Hey, what's up everyone? Tedrick85 here, and today I'm going to be talking about Side Pocket for the NES. This game was originally released into arcades in 1986, before eventually making its way into home consoles. It was released for the NES in 1987 and published by Data East. As you can probably tell from the title of the game, this is a billiards game. I have to admit, I don't know of very many pool games that were released for the NES, and this is the only one I've ever played. I've also have to admit that this is a pretty fun and addicting game to play as well, especially those who like to shoot some pool every once in a while. There's not much to say about the graphics in this game. The balls look like balls, you can tell you're playing pool by looking at the table, and everything else looks the way it's supposed to be. The game's HUD is pretty easy to understand too. The top left corner shows player 1's status, including number of points and the amount of shots the player has left, indicated with gray balls, whereas the top right corner shows player 2's, and the top center shows the shot meter as well as what kind of English you use on the cue ball. There's not much to say about the controls either. The D-pad controls the dotted line that you use to aim the shot, the B button lets you see what numbers the balls are, and the A button lets you shoot. In order to use English on the cue ball, you have to hold the B button and press either up or down depending on what type of English you're using. As in a regular game of pool, it's up to you what kind of English you want to use as well as what kind to use in a certain situation. All in all, the controls are pretty good, though one may have an issue aiming the dotted line the way they want to. But that's just how the game is at times and isn't a control issue. The gameplay, though, is where the game really starts to shine. Since I'm only one person, I'm only going to discuss one player mode in this review, although playing with 2 or more players isn't all that different. In one player mode, you can either select Practice or play a pocket game. In Practice, you can either simply practice by placing the cue ball and one ball where you want them to fine-tune your aiming, or you can take lessons in order for you to master some of the English this game has to offer. To be honest, I am a bit disappointed that Marseille wasn't included in this lesson, but then again it does take a pretty good pool player to use it. Each lesson consists of 3 parts. It doesn't matter if you fail any or all of them. The game doesn't penalize you or anything, so you're free to play as long, or take lessons as long as you wish. After practicing to your desire, you can select Pocket Game, or if you're an experienced player, you can select Pocket Game from the get-go. In Pocket Game, there are 4 classes that you must play through. You start off on City Class, and you must play your way through State, USA, and finally World Class. On each class you must obtain a certain number of points, and from State Class on you must perform a trick shot in order to progress. The trick shot really isn't any different from a trick shot you take after each round, though the degree of difficulty will increase the more you play. In order to get points, you need to keep in mind 2 things. 1. You need to make a string of consecutive shots without missing, and you need to get them in numerical order. It's up to you where you want to put your emphasis. I personally like to make a bunch of shots in a row, though I know others who like syncing them in numerical order. If you're really good, you can make a lot of shots in a row and get the balls in a numerical order. After each round, the game will show you how many balls were pocketed in a row as well as any that was pocketed in numerical order. Of course, depending on how well you do will determine whether or not you can advance to the next class. The number of balls you have to pocket depends on what round you're in. You're most likely to see either 6 or 9 balls, but you also have some rounds where you'll have to pocket 8 or 10. Throughout the game, you'll see pockets with flashing stars in them. If you manage to pocket a ball in one, you'll get a 1,000-point bonus, which will be helpful if you want to progress to the next class. There will also be flashing stars and pockets accompanied by a zone icon on the top right of the screen. If you scratch the cue ball in this star, you'll get a chance to pick either one ball or a series of balls in order for you to gain points or extra balls. You may also get to a point in the game where it will give you something called a Superball. It is represented by the 9 ball flashing on the table. If you hit the 9 ball in this state, your cue ball will spaz out and spread out the balls even more. Depending on how you hit it, you can get quite a few balls pocketed this way, and could also aid you in getting the remaining balls in. I highly recommend trying to hit the ball if you can, because any bit of the help the game gives you would be wise to take. As far as the music and sound effects of this game are concerned, they are nothing too special. Here's a sample taken from a round of Pocket game. I hope you enjoy the music because it just keeps on looping, unless you enter a zone start or play the bonus trick shot after each round. Like in real life, how difficult this game is depends on how good the player can aim their shots. It's a good idea to either practice or play a few rounds of Pocket games so you can familiarize yourself with the controls and how the game operates. Even after practice, some players might find it difficult to get from one class to another by not obtaining enough points to progress. It all depends on how good you are at pool and how efficient you are at pocketing the balls. Some people may think this game can be challenging, but I don't think one can deny that this game can be fun and entertaining, whether you're trying to climb up the ranks or just simply playing this for fun. I believe Side Pocket is a great simulator of an actual pool game. Even though one could argue it's more fun to play real pool, this is a great alternative just in case you find yourself stuck at home and unable to go to a pool hall and shoot a few games. As fun as this game can be to play by oneself, I think it's even more enjoyable to play with a friend. This is definitely one of the better multiplayer games I'd recommend for the NES. Good graphics, smooth controls, and entertaining gameplay make this a hit on my list. So if you get a chance, give this game a shot. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. This is TedJoke85 speaking. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.